Hello again and welcome to another Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard Regiment Focus. So first off I'd like to apologise. I know this Armageddon was out on Friday, but I was just really didn't have time. I had to be really up really early the next day. Didn't have time to do the focus, and I also had a really busy weekend in general, and I've been playing lots of games. I played 3 games of Warhammer in the last sort of 4 days, 2 of them with my Imperial Guard, so trying out Mordian tactics as best as I know them. So it has all been in service of the Emperor, so I know I'm a little bit late to the party on this, so I know a lot of you guys have probably already read about this, but hopefully I can still give you my opinion, my perspective, and we can still keep that discussion going. But yeah, this is the last of the Regimental Focuses Games Workshop is doing. It's the last one I'm going to do before the Codex is released this weekend. I know that a lot of stuff has been leaked on 1D4chan, but not everything is on there. There's actually still quite large gaps. And I'm going to wait until Saturday to do a proper, full, in-depth coverage. Because what I'll do is I'll do a proper regiment focus on everything Mordian, for example. So Mordian Relic, Mordian Warlord trait, Mordian Order, Mordian other stuff. And I'll do the same for all the other regiments. And that way we can have a focused review of each regiment. So that's what the plan is. So I know a lot of information is available out there, but not all of it is. And I'll be doing, of course, I will be going through the Codex fairly meticulously, going through the rule changes and whatnot. And so we've got all that to look forward to, proper analysis. But what I've been doing in the meantime is getting experience in with the new guard rules as best as I know them. I aren't using all the new stuff, but so that's what you've got to look forward to the rest of the week. So, taking a look at the Armageddon stuff today. So, Armageddon armies have long been known for their armoured regiments. Recent events in the 40k universe have changed. The Character Legion and constant warfare with orcs resulted in some regiments being dedicated wholly to orc hunting, making them deadly combatants at close range. Okay, they do mention the whole Armageddon orc hunter thing, but there's actually no, as far as I'm aware, so far, there's no actual specific Armageddon trait that makes you good at fighting orcs, weirdly. So they go on and on about Armageddon orc hunters, but then don't actually. Imperial Guard, Steel Legion, Armageddon Steel Legion are just as good at killing chaos as they are as orcs, apparently. So, bit of a weird one. Anyway, the Regimental Doctrine, Armageddon Industrial Efficiency. To the Steel Legions of Armageddon, the pitiless mathematics of industrialized slaughter have become a grim fact of life. One by one, their foes are butchered with dispassionate efficiency. Infantry units with this doctrine may double the number of attacks they make with rapid-fire weapons at a range of up to 18 inches, rather than half the weapon's range as normal. Vehicles of this doctrine treat attacks against them with an AP -1 as having AP 0. Okay, I like this. I like this a lot. I've seen some people poo-pooing it. I think it's really powerful. I know plasma guns have gone up in price in the current codex. That is a leak I have seen. Apparently, plasma guns are now 14 points for the Imperial Guard. I believe, apparently, we are paying more for our plasma guns than the Space Marines. I think Space Marines are paying 13 points, we're paying 14 points. If that's true, that's a bit rubbish. If we're paying the same as Space Marines, then that's not too bad. Apparently, though, on regular Guardsmen, it's still 7 points. That's okay. It's just for mystical 3+ models. Anyway, the rapid fire thing is fantastic. I mean, I was saying how good it was, the Destroyer, sort of 15-inch rapid fire. The fact that the Armageddon Steel Legion have an 18-inch rapid fire is really good. Really, really good. Can't fault it at all. In fact, the game I played last night, I was playing against Slaneshi Alpha Legion, and I was really annoying me having to keep getting into 12-inch range from my rapid fire. They were moving all over the place, being very sneaky, being very Alpha Legion. And so having that 18-inch range, I can't tell you, that is very, very powerful. Unit of veterans jumping out, 18-inch range, 6 plasma gun shots at 18-inch range is tasty. Cannot complain about that. The AP-1 regarding vehicles is very powerful. I mean, what is the number one bullshit AP-1 weapon that is spammed? The assault cannon. Twin assault cannon. Every Space Marine player and their mums is packing assault cannons these days. So the fact that the Steel Legion have a way of basically saying, oh, by the way, Space Marines, F you and your number one best weapon, that's absolutely great. And considering most Imperial Guard vehicles have only got a 3, well, I say only, I've got a 3+ save, those assault cannons, the amount of rounds they can chew out, you do find your vehicles getting ground down pretty quickly. So the fact that you've got, you don't have to worry about that anymore is very good, very fantastic. Moving on, the Chimera. They go on about the Armageddon stratagem. Use stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Select an Armageddon infantry unit from your army that disembarked from Armageddon transport vehicle this turn. You can reroll hits of 1 for that unit until the end of this phase. I like it. It's fluffy. It's 1 command point. I almost feel like, well, I don't know. I almost feel like I wish that was their regimental doctrine. Weirdly. Because you can only do it on 1 squad now, which is annoying because you're going to want to do it on most of your squads, and to be honest, you'll have orders. So, yeah, it's a bit annoying just because, simply because it's a stratagem. It's a good idea, and I like it, and it's fluffy, but it's a bit redundant because we have orders for that kind of stuff. I guess it means you can do reroll 1s to hit and reroll 1s to wound. I guess it means you can combine them, which is always nice. It's nice. It's not a problem. I'm not complaining. I like it. It's fluffy and it's functional. Just feel like it's not all that needed, but I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Armageddon specific order. Mount up. Rapid mechanized redeployments are paramount to success in the choking ash waves of Armageddon. Until the end of the phase, the ordered unit can shoot and then immediately embark within a friendly Armageddon transport vehicle. As long as all models in that unit are within 3 inches of the vehicle, this order may not be issued to a unit which disembarked in the preceding movement phase. I like this order. Okay, I like it because it is fluffy and it is balanced. So unlike the days of 7th edition where you had White Scars jumping out of a transport, blasting you in the face, giving you the middle finger, then jumping back in the transport. With this one, what happens is the guardsmen drive up, they jump out of the transport, and, well, the guardsmen basically, this is how I can see it working. Turn 1, you move up. Turn 2, you jump out your transport, shoot someone. Turn 3, you shoot them again and then pop back in your transport if anyone's left alive. It's balanced because it gives your enemy an opportunity to shoot you in the face. But it's all right. It's fluffy. Is it all that useful? Maybe. It basically means if you can survive a turn's worth of firepower, or you can be sneaky enough where you take your opponent a turn to really get to you, you can jump back in the transport. It's all right. It's all right. It's not amazing though, but it's not bad. It is something you could use every turn, and I mean something which I guess a lot of people haven't really considered, myself included, is if it's turn 1 and your opponent is if you get turn 1, I should say, you can use this order to deploy outside of your turn 1 deployment. You're outside of your transport, and then you shoot your opponent, and then you jump in your transport. That's a good way of using it. Or you can if your opponent's in your face turn 1 and you've already taken some damage, you can stop them from getting first blood potentially by jumping back in your transport in your turn. It's got possibility. It's got possibility. One thing to mention is it doesn't matter if the transport has moved or not. So what I mean by that is you could have a unit of Armageddon Steel Legion deployed away from a Chimera, and then the Chimera they can shoot turn 1, and then turn 2 they can and then the Chimera can move up to them, and they can shoot and jump in the Chimera. If that makes sense. Essentially, how you can use this is your Chimera can move and then guys can get inside it, rather than the guys having to get inside it first and then buggering off. So it's quite useful in that regard. It's quite useful. It has got tactical flexibility, which is always good. Always a good thing to have. You have to be clever to use it, is what I'm saying. You have to be clever to use it. Okay, so moving on, looking at the first relic that we've officially seen, the Dagger of Tusaka. I'm not sure how you say it. I'm going to say Tusak. Tupac. No, Dagger of Tupac. No, Tusak Khan. The Dagger of Khan, that's what we'll call it. During deployment, you can set up the bearer and one infantry unit from your army behind enemy lines instead of placing them on the battlefield. The infantry must have the same regiment keyword as the bearer. At any of your movement phases, this unit can launch their daring attacks at them within 3 inches of each other. Anywhere in the battlefield that is wholly within 6 inches of the battlefield edge and more than 9 inches away from any enemy models. So, 2 uses I can see this of. 1, take a commissar, give him the dagger, take a unit of 30 conscripts, outflank them, sit a unit of 30 conscripts on a backfield objective. Nice. Or 2, do the same thing, but if you're Mordians, for example, have a platoon commander and then a unit of veterans, outflank them. I'm calling it outflanking. Outflank them within rapid fire range of an enemy character and use the Mordian order to assassinate a character. That's the 2 sort of ways I can see it being used. Essentially either outflanking special weapons to do damage or outflanking a big blob to annoy your opponent. Kurov's Aquila. Each time you roll a stratagem on a d6, you gain each time your opponent uses a stratagem, roll a d6 on a 5+, you gain 1 command point. That is actually kind of funny. That is very troll-tastic. It's just a psychological. It really is going to annoy your opponent. That it's not going to make a huge impact. We already have 1 million command points as Imperial Guard, but it's not bad. It's not bad at all, and like I said, it's really going to mess with the opponent. He's going to be there like, do I really, really want to use stratagem? Is it really necessary for me to use stratagem? If not, do I really want to get the chance of giving my opponent an extra command point? Which he probably won't want to. So I like it. It's very troll-tastic. I love it. Unique Warlord trait for Armageddon, ex-gang leader. Add 1 to the Warlord's attack casting. In addition, add 1 to any rune roll made by your Warlord in the fight phase. Not bad. You kind of want to be avoiding combat, generally speaking. But the fact that you can, wound a lot of things on a 2+ now, if you take something like the Blade of Conquest, which we'll cover next, or Power Fist, I like it. It's not bad. If you're an Armageddon player and, you want to play fluffy, that could save your ass. You take that and the Blade of Conquest, that could really save your ass in a fight, which is good. Speaking of the Blade of Conquest, another relic of some kind. What is the dagger then? I thought the dagger was a relic. I'm sure the dagger was a relic. Maybe the Blade of Conquest is a relic as well. Blade of Conquest models with power sword only. So you kind of have to pay 4 points for this, or you put it on a Lord Commissar and get it for free. The Blade of Conquest replaces the model's power sword and has the following profile. Blade of Conquest, range, melee, type, melee, strength 2+, AP -4, damage D3. Very nice. Can't go wrong with that. You'll be wounding most enemies on a 3+. Most enemies won't be getting a save against that, and D3 damage just makes it all the tastier for chopping through termies and stuff like that. I like it. I like it a lot. And finally, the Ogren Bodyguard, Raw D6. It's a new unit. It's a single Bulgrin or Ogren. I'm not sure how we're going to be able to, what weapons we're going to be able to equip it with, but it'll be interesting to have a look. It's basically an Ogren, and on every time an Astra Militarum character within 3 inches loses a wound on a 3+, the character does not lose a wound, and instead you put a mortal wound on the bodyguard. It's nice. Yeah, it's nice. It's not the end of the world in any way, shape, or form. It's not good, or it's not huge good. It's not huge bad. It's just okay. The reason I say it's just okay is what you've got to ask yourself is, you could take your Ogren Bodyguard, or you could, for the same points, probably take just another commander and get more orders. And it's essentially the same thing. Look, I think it's a good idea. I'll give it a go for sure. I think it will become more prevalent with things like snipers and Vindicare assassins becoming more prevalent. I think that will be the case. I think as people learn more and more to find ways of sniping guard officers, I think that the Ogren Bodyguard, the Bogren Odyguard, I should say. The Ogren Bodyguard, I think, will become more useful then. For now, it doesn't seem essential, but I reckon it's got a potential place in many lists in the future. So overall, what do I think of Armageddon? Looking at Armageddon specific things, I think industrial efficiency is potentially very powerful, especially if you're playing against another ranged faction. And as I have said already, 8th edition is an edition of shooting, so having advantages to being sort of able to outrange your opponent, which this kind of lets you do. A lot of ranged armies like to get in rapid fire range. You're going to have an advantage over them for at least a turn or two. That's good. Having tougher vehicles, always good. Always good. Having the ability to reroll ones without having to, on a stratagem, without having to use an order, that's fine. Having the unique order, it has good tactical flexibility. That's okay. Ex-gang leader is not great, but save your ass in a pinch. Yeah, overall, I don't know. I would say Armageddon is pretty strong. Is it as strong as Katachan, which is obviously the gold standard up to this point? I don't know. I would say it's definitely equal to sort of Mordian and I'd say it's probably better. I'd say overall it's probably better than the ones we've seen so far. Maybe a little bit better. Like, if we put sort of the Valhallan one down at sort of 4, sort of 3 out of 5, score 3 out of 5, and we put the Katachan one as 5 out of 5, Mordian and Vostroyan are sort of 4 out of 5, I would put the Armageddon one at maybe sort of 4.2, 4.3 out of 5. It's good. It's got always going to be in play. It's got good tactical. It's got good flexibility. Yeah, it's fine. I think it's a solid 4 to 4.5 out of 5 if we compare it to Katachan. So yeah, I think it's really good. I think it's got a lot of potential. It's balanced. It's very balanced. You can't jump in and out of vehicles. It's a plus 6 inch range, but only to your rapid fire weapons. But on top of that, because to sort of balance out with Vostroyans, you get the AP -1 thing on vehicles. Yeah, I think it's really good. Anyway, guys, I'm going to cut the video off here. I think it's pretty good. With the rumoured points decreases coming for Chimeras, I think Steel Legion could be very, very powerful. And it is worth mentioning that Steel Legion are one of the best deals you can get for Imperial Guard online. £20.50. You get a missile launcher and a grenade launcher, and you get your in your full squad of 10 men, which is better than the 18 quid for the Cadians. So yeah, really think that that's Cadians Steel Legion are a good deal, and I think the fact with Plasma getting shafted a little bit, you know, grenade launchers are potentially back on the menu. We'll have to take a look at them though. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I will see you guys next time.